Look, 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 look. What an amazing outfit. A homemade bread made with oats and without flour that turns out this moist and delicious. Hello. Today we're going to make a fantastic bread without flour. We're going to use oats, oat flakes that are sold in all supermarkets, which some of you call rolled oats. And it's so quick that the first thing I'm going to do is this. Simply turn on the oven so it can start preheating. We're going to preheat it to 180 degrees Celsius, which is about 355 Fahrenheit, with heat from both the top and bottom. And what I'll do is take these flakes or rolled oats and pour them into a large bowl. Here we go. Specifically, it's 3 cups of rolled oats, which is about 400 grams. It's that easy. Once we have them in, we add 2 large eggs, size L. Here, at least in my area, they weigh between 63 and 73 grams. Once you have them in, as you can see, I'm not doing anything special, just stirring so the flakes or oats absorb the moisture from the egg. It's that easy. As you can see, it was just about mixing it. The next ingredient, which is yogurt, is also 250 grams, or 1 1/4 cups. You could also say it's 2 units, but here's the trick. As you can see, I haven't added all of it, just a part, and I'm adding it little by little because I want to add moisture without overdoing it. So you might not need it. Everything else stays the same, and a little less is enough for you. Because not all oat flakes are the same, and not all yogurts have the same moisture. So we keep adding and mixing until we get a thick but doughy texture that barely falls off a spoon. Let's see, just like that. Perfect, this is what we were looking for. And once you have a texture like this, we stop adding yogurt and move on to the next ingredient, which is salt. I would add at least half a teaspoon, and also, if you like it a bit salty, up to a whole teaspoon. That depends on each person's taste. As before, stir quickly so it spreads evenly, and then you add another ingredient. Now it's time for the baking powder, which will make it fluffier. 1 tablespoon or 10 grams goes in, mix again. And now, what will give it a special flavor? You can add any nut you want. I like it with seeds, so I add a couple of tablespoons of sunflower seeds. I give it a little stir and do the same with pumpkin seeds. So here you can add whatever you want. For example, some chopped walnuts also work great. Once it's all mixed, we move on to the mold we're going to use. In my case, it's the typical cake mold, which measures about 24 centimeters long by about 9 centimeters wide. 9 centimeters wide. But you can use whichever one you want. In my case, it has silicone on the sides. If you prefer, you can use a regular mold and line it with parchment paper. The result will be the same now, as you can see. We simply add this kind of paste and smooth it out so it's more or less flat. Afterwards, you can optionally decorate it with something else. I use the same seeds or kernels in both colors to give it that crunchy touch on top, which is always nice. Also, if you want, you can add a bit of sesame seeds, and it will have an even more special touch. What I'm going to do now is go to that oven we've preheated, to those 180 degrees Celsius, or 355 Fahrenheit. And we're going to leave it inside for 35 minutes, and you'll notice how it gradually rises. After that time, you can check if it's ready by poking a toothpick in the center. If it comes out clean, the bread is fully cooked. In my case, it's already done, so out it goes. Here, I have this real marvel. I always like to put a bit of kitchen paper or absorbent paper on top while it cools. And once you have it, let it cool down or serve it cold. That's up to you. You can now remove this paper. Look how good it looks. And also, let me remind you, if you don't have a silicone mold like this one with the side, that's okay. Just line a regular mold with parchment paper. And the result will be the same. What I'm going to do now is unmold this wonder, and as I was saying, you just have to remove this silicone side. And look at how amazing this bread we made looks. In just a moment. Once it's unmolded, it looks absolutely amazing. A very easy homemade bread with an incredibly moist texture. It's going to surprise you. Look at that, super moist. And this is the most important part. In food, just like in people, what's inside is what matters. And this one looks like a perfect 10. Here, you catch me enjoying this super juicy wonder with you. A real seed bread, cake, whatever you want to call it, but it turns out amazing. Perfect to eat on its own, as a side, or to fill with a bit of jam, some oil, and tomato, whatever you like. 100% delicious. And, as you've seen, without flour, with the good energy that oats give you, and really very easy to make. I hope you liked it and that you'll tell me down below in the comments. What's your favorite bread? Maybe one that's a bit unique? And also, where are you watching from? Because that way, we travel all over the world through delicious breads, and we all learn a ton. Remember, if you like recipes, I have hundreds on the channel, so if you get bored, check them out. I'm sure you'll find your next favorite meal. And if you like sweets, remember that I have another fantastic channel with dessert recipes called Goloslandia. This is so good.